Hello, Algebra 1. Today we're going to be doing some factoring GPs. You should have a blank sheet of paper out in front of you. This will be collected. So for GP number 1, I would like you right now, please, to copy down this problem and try to factor it, please, and then hit pause on the video. When you're ready to see the solution, hit play. 5x squared plus 2x minus 3. So go ahead and hit pause on the video right now, and then when you're ready to see the solution, hit play. So the solution to this problem, I want to remind you that standard form of a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. A is the coefficient of x squared, and c is your constant. B is the coefficient of just x. Now, in order to get A when you're factoring, A is the product of m times n, and C is the product of P times Q. So ultimately, you end up with this situation where you have the factors of that trinomial. You'll have an x and an x, and coefficient of one will be m, coefficient of the other is n, and then you're going to add p to one and add q to the other. That's what we're looking for. We want to see the two binomials I need to multiply together to equal that trinomial. So looking at this example for GP number 1, let's say I want mn, using the wrong color there, we want mn, we want m times n to be 5. And really there's only one way to do that. So factors of mn are going to be 1 and 5. The pq, which is your c term, is going to need to be negative 3. And really, there's only one way to get negative 3. Well, technically 2. There's 1 times negative 3 and negative 1 times a positive 3. And that really works out because you'll notice that this is a plus-minus situation. And when you have a plus-minus, when you have your final answer, it's going to be x minus plus, or plus minus. Okay, so one of those is going to be 3, one of those is going to be negative 3. We just need to figure out which ones. We also need to run some trials to find out, is the first one going to be 1, or is the second one going to be 1? So there's my x's, plus, minus. Let's come up with a couple of trials here. We definitely know we have a 1 and a 5. And we know we have a 1 and a 3. When you OI that, your outside terms is going to be 3 times x, and then your inside terms is going to be negative 5x, and you add those two together and you get negative 2x. That does not match this positive 2x, so that's not going to be the answer. Let's try a trial number 2, a second trial. So we tried a negative 1 and a 3. Well, let's keep one of these the same, and let's switch our 3's and our 1's and see what that does. Well, again, let's try to OI it, and when we do OI it, we get 1x this time, and then you get negative 15x. Uh-oh, it looks like we're going to be way off here, because when we combine those two like terms, we get negative 14x. Again, that doesn't match this negative 2x. we don't have quite the right combination here. We were closer with the first round, so let me go back to that first round. We had x minus 1 and 5x plus 3. Well, let's go ahead and rewrite that one. My x's were the same, 5x. Let's say we switch the positives and the minuses. Well, make this positive 1, make that a negative 3, because we can still do that because we know that 1, negative 3 is one of the factors for PQ. So let's go ahead and OI that one, and this is old work. The only reason I'm erasing is because I don't have enough room to proceed. So we've got our negative 3x for my outside terms. We have positive 5x for my inside terms. You add those together, and what do you get? You get your positive 2x. So this is the solution. X plus 1 times 5x minus 3. Alright, if you need time to copy that down, go ahead and hit pause. Otherwise, the video will continue with GP number 2. So GP number 2, please copy this problem down and try to factor it. GP number 2 looks like this. Let's make things a little bit more interesting. We have 6y squared minus 11y minus 10. Go ahead and hit pause now on the video, please, to proceed with solving this problem. Otherwise, the video will proceed with the answer. We're going to go ahead and solve this problem pretty quickly now. We need a little bit more speed when solving these. We have our MN and our PQ. MN is going to be 6, my PQ is going to be negative 10. Now there's two ways to get to 6. There's a 1, 6 and a 2, 3. For PQ, you've got your negative 1, 10. You got your 1, negative 10. You have your 2, 5. 2, negative 2, 5. You have your 2, negative 5. So we have a bunch of different combinations here for our trials. You want to be able to create a trial that equals an OI of negative 11. So going back to the problem, we want our answer to look like this. We want to know what that binomial is. We know we have a y. In fact, I see a minus situation. It can't be plus plus, and it can't be minus minus, so this is definitely going to be a plus minus situation. And the reason I know that is this is minus and that's minus. The only way to get that situation is having a plus minus for my binomials. Now you just need to play around with your different combinations. You also know that your B term is small. It's 11, which means you don't want to use a big range in numbers. In other words, you don't want to compare these two to each other, because you'll have 6 times 10 is 60, or you'll have a big difference. So we could probably eliminate that. We can eliminate that other one as well. 6 times 5 is 30. We want these numbers, it looks like, to be pretty close to each other. So let's see what we come up with here. Let's start off with 2, 3, and these 2 5s. So we need to start somewhere. So let's go ahead and do 2, 3, and come up with your trial. Let's do our negative 2, 5. When we OI that, outside terms, negative 4y, inside terms, positive 15y, and we get our 11y. But is that what we want? And the answer is no, that's positive. So that trial didn't work, but it got us pretty darn close. We have our 2y and we have our 3y. Whenever you have that situation where you have the positive instead of the negative, you're going to want to switch. Oops, not that way. You're going to want to be able to switch you're going to want to be able to switch the just the signs. So we had our 5 here, we had our 2 here. We want to switch the negative and the positive. So now when we OI that, we get our positive 4y. On our inside we get our negative 15y. And that's where we get our negative 11y. So that's our solution. Go ahead, take a moment please to copy that down. So GP number 3. Please go ahead and take a moment to copy this problem down. The numbers are getting much larger, so there's going to be more combinations. 24r squared minus 6r minus 45. Go ahead and copy all of these down, please. These will not have solutions. These are to carry you to the end of the period. GP number 4 is 14y squared minus 15y plus 4. And then let's do number 30. 12y squared minus 20y plus 8. Alright folks, I gave you the solutions to the first 2. Here's 3 more for you to work with and figure out in class.